Good evening. You're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Andy. Pod job standing by.
This is Tracy, Pod Tracer, standing by.
This is Lexi, Podmay, standing by.
All ships to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about Star Wars in movies, streaming, animation, books, themed experiences, and your art and inspiration from the galaxy far, far away. Today's flight plan includes a little bit of Star Wars news, but mostly getting back into Star Wars Skeleton Crew Episode 5. And for all of you out there, all comm channels are open. Follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram. Find us on Twitch and YouTube. Like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we have new content. But first, I will be your squad leader for today. I am Andy Lowe, aka the Chinese Pirate, director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, and fight choreographer. On my wing, as always, is Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy, also known as Hot Nerd Girl. I'm a space nut chicken tender, apocalypse prepper person who occasionally goes to conventions these days.
And on my other wing is Lexi.
Nerdy. I guess I can call myself a brewery worker now. Yeah. Ooh.
You're a little bit like a fluffy Han Solo right now.
Yeah, no, I have boots.
Evil.
No, it's very Han Solo today. And my hobby is designing cosplays I can't afford to make.
And of course,
we all.
And of course, we are just one squad in this fleet. We are part of the Geekish Network. That's right here on YouTube and on Facebook. Check out all the great shows that are going on. As spoils to attack position, we are going in. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are back with the squad. And we're going to start real quick with just a little headline that popped up a little while back. Well, okay, it's not really just a headline. There's just been a number of coverage around this topic. And I have a personal connection to this, too, because I actually got to see some of this. So recently there was an interview with Rick McCallum, who was basically goaded into talking about the original Star Wars TV series that they had optioned back in the, I want to say early 2000s, actually. But I actually had been tipped off of this because I knew an insider in the studio. I actually got to tour the ranch and saw the stack of infamous scripts that were just kind of sitting there. And at the time, they were still trying to pitch, but they were definitely not optimistic because they knew the cost on the per episode cost was probably not going to get picked up. But yeah, it's interesting to see all this kind of news and coverage come out about it. Have either of you kind of followed any of these articles at all?
Nope, not even remotely.
No.
This is basically, I mean, so if you recall, there was a little period there when like they had announced Star Wars 1313. And that was a whole movement where they were planning to just kind of dig deep into the underworld of Star Wars. All of the kind of, mafia and Jabba the Hutt and everything else, but also, of course, that idea of level 1313, which was one of the under levels of Coruscant where all the dirty dealings apparently took place.
Like the Section 31 or like Mafia?
More underworld.
Okay.
And
The Hutts.
and the Hutts and the other, like the bank, the banking clans, the Pikes, all that, right? Essentially what they started to try to get into with the Solo movie. But yeah, like everything that I had been told about it, and is coming out now, it's like that it was actually very gritty, and it kind of really would have upended a lot of what people know as Star Wars right now, because
So like the Deep Space Nine of Star Wars.
yeah, you know what? Actually, that's a very good analog, and that was around the time of the DS9 too, and I think that was kind of what was informing them. But Yeah, there's some interesting coverage. If you're curious, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that has kind of recently leaked, or people have been talking about it. It's all interesting stuff, but I encourage you all to check some of that out. I think Rodney found a link for an article on the Nerdist, and there's plenty of other stuff, but totally worth looking into. It's kind of fascinating, and it's also interesting because, of course, we know these stories never quite die. A lot of things still end up getting mined later down the line, right? So you never know.
Yep, for a video game or a book or a future series or whatever.
I mean, they just actually last year, wasn't it? Last year or the year before, they released the game, the open world games. Is it Outcasts?
Outlaws.
No, Outlaws.
Yeah.
Right.
So what did you think, Andy, of what you saw?
Well, I didn't get to read anything. It was more like I saw the infamous stack of scripts, and I got to talk with the friend who was there working at the ranch at the time. And they told me what they knew about it and how excited folks were about it. But yeah, there was a certain amount of realism, just because particularly this was like right after the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles had basically been canceled. And so that per episode cost was already super prohibitive, and kind of why ABC didn't kind of continue on with it. Lucas actually bankrolled much of that series with his own money, just because he was very mission driven in terms of doing an Indiana Jones series that would talk about world history.
Oh, I'm dating myself, but I loved that show so much.
I loved that show. So, you know what? Actually, that was one of my first main pandemic watches. Was I just had this urge to hunt down the old DVDs of all the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, and it was.
Did it stand up to time?
It's the storytelling, yes. It's kind of fascinating because it was. I mean, it really was a way for me to kind of process. Here we were going through the pandemic, going through historic times, and kind of watching indie processing World War One, and
I did that Land Before Time.
Yeah.
I remember when the first Land Before Time came out in theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing too, though, I mean, you definitely can see gaps in the production value, because it, on one hand, it's like you really got handed to them that they did all of this location shooting in Europe, as well as doing full on trench warfare, World War warfare for primetime television. But of course, if you look carefully with a 2020 plus eye, you can see that all the dead bodies in the trenches are dummies, and Indiana Jones is crawling through mannequins, and that's kind of funny. But then you also get to see a young baby James Bond playing a Nazi, which is awesome. What's his name?
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
I was gonna say blonde hair, blue eyes has got to be Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig.
Oh God, who else was in that episode? Shoot, what's her name? Actress who was in the Zorro movies.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes, she was in that. She was like the kind of Mata Hari style character, the agent in that episode.
Nice.
Okay.
Anyways, but yes, so that was the context of it all. You should check out some of that stuff because it is really interesting. What could have been? But shall we jump in?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So we are returning to Skeleton Crew, episode 5. We are obviously a little behind, but we wanted to spend a little bit more time on Skeleton Crew and give it its due. So we are now in episode 5. Episode is called let's see here. What episode was this called? Episode 5. You have a lot to learn about pirates. Would you guys like to kind of give us a little synopsis, or anyone want to give it a shot?
Is Is this the one where they go to the planet, the resort planet that used to be the?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. That was the only one. I thought I had notes from the last time that we'd filmed, and I didn't. That's the only one I had notes about.
That's better than I did. I couldn't find my notes.
So okay. So the quick update. This was the episode that was directed by Jake Schreier, who was one of the creators for Netflix's Beef. He also was the director of Thunderbolts, which is coming out from Marvel. But this is the one that is right after SM-33 threatened to tear the kids from limb from limb. They had just been at what was the other planet called?
Attic? Atten? No. That's their planet.
I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. So they were at the sister planet of At, and they got the coordinates, and they triggered old programming in SM-33 that we found out was from his previous captain, Captain Renaud.
The guy who's the partial hologram, whose face we never see.
Yeah, once they get to the planet. Mm-hmm. So this is the funny thing. This is the kind of shtick that I thought was kind of funny. Is the running gag through this is, well, one, we get SM-33 back, and he's like, okay, I'm loyal to y'all. But now that I remember everything, I can guide you to Captain Renaud's secret base, and it's like, it's a hive of scum and villainy, and it has the death pits and blah blah blah, and the bodies of our enemies are strewn about and all that, and they get there, and it's like it's been turned into
luxury yachts,
posh,
and no children allowed, so they propose as the elders.
They see another luxury yacht, and he's like, oh, they must be scallywags who, strewing the bodies of the rich and powerful, and they get, and this is a gag that continues throughout the thing of he keeps going like, wait, where are the oil bits? Where are the, they ruined it.
This is where it gets a little Goonies, like a little more Goonies.
Oh, a lot more.
Right. Yeah. And this is where the pirates really catch up to Jod's former crew. Brutus, led by Brutus, really finally catches up to them.
Well, what did you guys think of the their entrance to the planet? The whole gag with the kids.
With that being the elders, you mean?
Yes.
Right. They're so obviously dressed in stereotypical pirate gear. It's hilarious. And everybody's just playing along. They're like, step away from the elders. They're like, we're kids.
I also dig Jod's thing of they can't speak basic. They can only speak.
I loved when Fern tried to speak to him that way too, and he's like, what? And she's just like, I'm trying.
Yeah, there are a lot of moments of that too, where you have just the kids being kids, they get into the big luxury suite, and the kids
jumping
on the bed, they're having a pillow fight, and
I'm a little surprised he didn't stack them up, one on have one on somebody's shoulders, with that
kids
big
in a long coat.
Yeah.
That said, also, so kind of on our antagonist side, we get one of the coolest character designs that I've seen in Star Wars in a long time. The bounty hunter?
The dweller in the mud pit?
No, the bounty hunter, who was played by the voice actress who played Merida in Brave.
Yeah, in Brave.
She's not just a voice actress. She's a full-on legit actress. But yeah.
But best known for voicing Merida, probably, by most folks.
It reminded me a little bit of the character that was introduced in the Wrath of Khan remake they did in the Kelvinverse as well. But
which character?
She was played by the gal who was also in Her Majesty's Secret Service or whatever. She was
right.
Yeah, she was had the white with the black. Or was it? I think it was black face.
I think the character name was like Ayla or something like that.
Yeah. It gave me those vibes a little bit, but she also had kind of a little bit of like a shield maiden thing going on with like the braids and all
Really,
that.
the shaved
Mhm.
sides of her head, the contacts, which gave her a little bit of a beady pupil. I don't know. I just thought she was rad.
She was rad. I'd like to see more of her.
Yeah. I hope she comes back.
Was her name?
Yeah, we don't even have a species listed for her.
I don't know, actually, because I don't think we've seen the species before. They probably made it up for her, but
Yeah, there's a theory that her species might be related to Umbarans.
oh, that'd be kind of neat. Yeah, because I mean, did we see many Umbarans in Clone Wars? I remember when they were on the planet. I just don't remember seeing people.
Like the awesome beast in the mud pit who has like a tail like a dinosaur, and he's like, tell me a story and I'll help you out.
Yeah,
That was very Goonies. Very Alice in Wonderland caterpillar moment too.
and a nice little like bait and switch moment where like giant monster dwelling deep, and then we cut away to Jod, and then there's silliness and whatever, and then they show up and they're there to rescue them, and the kids are just telling them stories like, you tell good stories, don't trust that guy.
That guy.
Also kind of just find it funny, of course, like the slight call out to Cthulhu with Catholips is his name.
Oh, and we got another Jod nickname too from Pocket. I can't remember what it was.
That's right, it was oh gosh, do you remember what it was? Right,
Start with a D.
That's something we haven't really been doing is create the running list of Jod different names, right? We have Captain Silvo, we have Jod Nanawood, we have Jack,
Crimson Jack.
Crimson Jack.
and there's whatever name he that she calls him for this.
Definitely start with a D.
He also, of course, also poses as a doctor so and so when he bribes the clerk as well. But back professor whatever. But back to, of course, we our cool Merida bounty hunter calls it in to Brutus, and the pirates arrive, which leads way to a chase. What did you any thoughts about the finding of the lair?
I think most importantly, it leads to the discovery of a lightsaber that is gold and silver, which is very much High Republic colors. So,
yeah, very High Republic, and I love the reveal of the lightsaber. It's just so pitch perfect for this show.
Go ahead and describe it. Lay it down for us.
So they set Wim up like he's going to, heroically ignite the lightsaber and at least make some kind of stand against Jod, who's openly turned on them, and he's holding Fern hostage, isn't he? At the time, yeah. And Jod tells him, it's not like the stories, kid. Don't do it. And of course, Wim ignites the lightsaber, and he's holding it upside down, and it goes into the ground, and he yelps and drops it.
At least he wasn't pointing at his face like Luke Skywalker did when he first held a lightsaber.
You'll cut your ear off.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Yeah, I love that moment. I was like, it's like, and like, how can you not like root for him? And it's such a great setup. And of course, he flubs it, and it's like, oh yeah, he's a kid. He's a
and he's not like a Padawan trained since a youngling. And
yeah,
all he's done is read comic books about Jedi.
Right. Well, so this is also, I think, something that I think was kind of interestingly bold. We have the full on heel turn of Jod at this point, right? Once he has, once he now knows that At-Aten is a mint, an Old Republic mint. So it's not just unlimited money. It's literally unlimited money because they can just print as much money as they want. But it's also that like he now has the coordinates, and then he uses the information he's learned about SM-33 them and just says, okay, I challenge. And SM-33 is kind of bound by his programming to honor the pirate code of a battle to the death, which basically screws over Fern.
Yeah.
How do they can just continually print money? Like, do they have a vast amount of ore underneath their planet? Like, where do they get the material from?
In the first or second episode, remember there's a bit where Fern tries to scare Wim and says you'll be sent to the mines or something like that.
Yeah,
they kind of imply that it is also a mining planet.
Okay, fair. But it's gonna have finite resources, and they've been there for thousands of years.
Yeah.
I digress. Enjoy the magic,
Zenton.
Tracy.
Dash Zenton was the additional name. Thank you for that, Rodney. Which I suppose is maybe similar to what was the name? Who was Dash Rendar? Was that from the Dark Forces video game?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've only played the Fallen Order, Jedi,
Oh yeah.
with the ginger kid. Those are the only ones I've played. So
yeah, I'm still in the middle of Jedi Survivor, the sequel to that. So they're there. Jod does his turncoat moment, and of course Wim then saves the day by doing what he always does. He pushes the button
and sends them down a Goonie chute.
Totally a Goonie chute.
With like the fake food and everything.
That's right. That's true. It is a fake food. Yeah, that was also a cute thing where they're like, wait, why is all the food spoiled, but that roast is still...
Oh, yeah. But remember, it was Neil. Everybody was looking everywhere else, and Neil's the one looking for the food.
Right.
Hit after my own heart.
He's got his priorities straight. What can we say?
Exactly.
When Neil's the man.
Let's see here. And that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. Of course, we ended off with Jod escaping out of the sewers, and of course
covered in jewels, Smee style,
and of course coming face to face with all of the pirates, including Brutus and Urkel pirate, Cyborg Urkel. As the kids are stranded out in the deserts below. How did you guys feel about this episode?
There were a lot of good payoffs. And I mean, you've been hearing since episode 1, don't trust that guy, don't trust since you met him, don't trust that guy, don't trust that guy. And it's like, oh, shouldn't have trusted that guy. So yeah, lots of good payoffs. A good balance between comedy and action. Yeah, I enjoyed that episode a lot.
I love all the genuine kid moments, right? I mean, I think like Tracy was saying, some very deep Goonies feels through this episode.
Just once in my life, I want to find myself in a cave full of pirate treasure. Just once.
Oh, and then oh god, I forgot about this too. The whole gag with them finding the pit of acid, and then you have to sacrifice what a pirate holds dear, and they're like, it's a life sacrifice, and he's like, I know you don't understand pirates, and he drops in a coin, and that's what drains the acid, but only to be followed with pretty, I mean, off camera, but pretty like brutal moment where he basically drowns all the pursuing pirates in acid.
Yeah.
I love how the kids are like, ooh.
He did just say he treats life pretty lightly, so if it means keeping his treasure.
I think this is also maybe the first episode where we really see him openly using the Force, right? Like there's always kind of
when he holds the coin and then he calls the lightsaber, right?
that he also steals back the knife when it's confiscated from him when they first
Yeah.
land. Oh, also another kind of important scene that we forgot about is that when they're on the ship and Jod begrudgingly consoles Wim.
He's like, oh, scared emotions. Oh,
Well, that and also it's a great twist on, established things we've heard, right? Like the whole Jedi code of attachments is turned into, okay, attachments, get rid of them. They're useless.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
you don't have a mom, kid? I don't have a mom or a dad.
Yeah.
Trying to one up the kid.
Definitely like Vic the Cynic's Guide to the Jedi Code.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah. John needs therapy. Real bad.
Let's see here. Oh, was there stuff with the parents that we missed for this episode?
They come more into there was where he tried to steal the code and the droid recognized it right away. And Fern's mom was like, "What are you doing? I'm handling this, but I haven't heard back." And he's like, "Please, for the love of God, help us." And she's like, "Okay, well, what's the plan?" And I think that's pretty much the extent of the parents.
Right.
And
The parents starting to plot.
Well, Fern's very much her kid.
Yeah. I do also kind of love all of these parent scenes where it's like you can see them starting to have their own little Goonie side plot, and they're all really bad at it.
Like the parents, and I think actually I kind of love that. I love that the parents are worse at it than the kids because they spent so long thinking within the box.
Yeah,
Totally.
Great. Any other final thoughts about this episode?
Oh,
Not a one.
Real good.
Yeah.
from our conversation about Tosh.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought this was a really fun episode, honestly. I would say, like the last episode was very cool because like it really dug into the mystery. This one just really dug its heels into the fun, and of course we get the big climactic heel turn of Jod, which just raises the stakes, and leaves the kids on their own, really, for the first time at the end of it, which is
The only thought I can keep thinking of is that this episode reminded me of Doctor Who.
how so?
But it just felt like where we've been landed in this area and shenanigans ensue, and I feel like I've seen so many Doctor Who episodes where they like land on a whatever sterile looking planet or whatever, and
I suppose having the luxury spa planet is very Doctor Who, but also just like the kind of quirky sense of humor. Oh God, the moment where they're just kind of panning over the mud pits and you see the lounging hut who grabs the waiter and eats him, and you can hear
not
again.
I just was looking out for a little shop because I love a little shop. All I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of little touches like that was like, okay, that is actually very peak Star Wars of, randomly you're doing an establishment shot and you see a frog dog, eat something, some desert creature and burp, and then complete throwaway.
Indian slice of life.
Yeah, slice of life, world building, weird.
Cost them $100,000 in.
I know, right? But it's a good investment. But, great. I think that wraps up this, and will get us to the end of this episode. We'll be back with episode 6 next time around. Let's see here. Shoot. Okay, edit this
Thanks for joining us.
I can't find that part of the script.
It's on page 15.
Oh God, it's so far away.
Thank you for joining us here on the Geekish Network. Please follow Geekish Network on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and subscribe to the channel. We will be releasing new VODs, pods, and Mondays and weekly. Check out the schedules for all the other great shows on here throughout the week.
Yeah, Tracy.
Thanks on the flight deck to Rodney.
Yay!
We are the Pod Squadron. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for podcast subscriptions. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app.
I am the Chinese Pirate. I'm at Chinese Pirate _ on all platforms.
Girl, hot new girl on all the things.
The Pharaoh Week on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Yeah.
All wings return to base and course laid in and prepare to jump to light speed on my mark. And remember, the truths we cling to depend on our own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night.